Hello again, old friends. Hello.
Now this is just weird.
Poodle scared.
No, I
said
I
took a Sudafed and I've had a coffee.
I'm terrified.
And you know what? And I had a good fucking last night.
No!
So there you go. He said, don't talk about sex. Sorry, y'all.
No, I said we may have a different type of listener or a different kind of listener who's coming because we have special guests later today.
My boyfriend flattened me like a chicken parmesan. Just woo!
Yo, it's 2021, y'all. M&P, we got a new show.
If you ain't got no money, take your broke dick home. Poodle.
If you ain't got no money, wait. Pass.
BLING Empire OMG Netflix, we coming for you. Maddie, Poodle,
And special guests, too.
It's Bling Empire on Reality Gaze.
I'm drinking Tito's the rest of my days.
Eating Doritos.
This show's the closest we'll get to the glamorous.
Oh, the glamorous.
Oh, the glamorous. Oh, the glamorous, glamorous. Oh, the glamorous. Oh, the glamorous. Oh, the glamorous. Betty, who are these people?
Poodle. Boy, I'm so glad you asked. Oh, there's Dr. Gabe and his wife, Christine. Jamie is the fashion queen. Kevin's got that banging bod, and Kimberly is a DJ god.
Kane's got Benjis by the tons. Anna's dad sells bombs and guns. Ain't none of these kids gotta worry about bills, and they're all in Beverly Hills. Oh, the glamorous. Yo, the flowers say, oh, the glamorous. Oh, the flowers say, oh, the glamorous. Oh, the glamorous.
Welcome to Reality
Chicken
Gaze.
Cutlet. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're not listening to this in the morning.
Welcome to the show. You guys.
Thanks for lording it over because I'm still quarantined.
Boy.
My dentist needs to get his shot stat.
They could open a nunnery in your asshole. It's so unsexed.
Unsex me here.
Yo, this is Reality Gaze doing Bling Empire.
This is Reality Gaze on Bling Empire.
If you're new to the show, my name's Matt Marr, a.k.a. Maddie, and my wonderful co-host.
And I have Jake Anthony.
Anthony.
I am Jake Anthony, a.k.a. Poodle.
Call him Poodle, y'all, and we call him Maddie. So, welcome if you're new. Welcome to Reality Gaze.
If you're not new, it's the same old shit show.
It's the same queen, just another day alone.
Exactly.
We normally talk about 90 Day Fiancé and
other reality
and
crap.
But we
some good reality.
We do these little binges, and so the first part of this episode is going to be us kind of talking about our own experience with this episode, and then we'll go to commercial.
Later on, we're going to have the hosts of the podcast add to cart. And that's Kulap Vilaysack and Suchin Pak. So we're very excited.
It's very exciting. Poodle's been because you worked with UCB, right?
Yeah, I
Kulap?
She was kind of around. We were in the same worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
she knows Lindsay, our friend Lindsay, very well.
Yes, that we call Sissy. And Suchin, I just know y'all.
Suchin was on MTV News.
MTV News.
When are we going to get her to tell Kurt Loder stories? Probably not.
I feel like his stories aren't that exciting. He seems very normal and down to earth.
I agree.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
I think I read that it was like his
speculate.
55th birthday or something like that, and people on the internet freaked the fuck out. Y'all, because y'all don't realize he was like 40 when he was doing that.
Or Tabitha Soren. I think Suchin was after Tabitha Soren.
I think so too. You know, MTV News was y'all got to think of. There was only like NBC, ABC, and all this shit.
They were the first like fringe news,
but like fucking cutting edge and like doing some.
Remember Rock the Vote?
Yes.
Rock the Vote was huge.
Yeah, I think that's one reason why voting is so ingrained to me as important is because of Rock the Vote, honestly. Because my dad, why would I vote for some guy up there in D.C. who doesn't give a fuck about me?
Because it's your responsibility?
They don't care.
Jesus.
That was my dad.
You were brought up well.
My mom voted. So anyway, it was Rock the Vote that I was like, this is important. I remember RuPaul talking about
You're
Rock
like, Johnny Edwards is cute.
Johnny Edwards, I like his hair. His hair is so handsome. RuPaul, I remember we talked about Rock the Vote, and I was like, who is this drag queen? Whoa, am I homosexual? I think I am.
Yes.
Yes.
If Sue Chan would have seen you then, she would have said, indeed you are.
Indeed you are. She would say, this is not breaking news. The rest of the world knows this, Maddie. I would say, okay, Sue Chan. And I would have said it like that.
Yeah.
Sue Chan.
Yeah, you would have.
Because of my accent. Anyway, y'all, but we're talking about Bling
This is
Empire
Bling
today.
Empire.
Episode 2, A Tale
Of Two Trusts.
of Two Trust. Y'all.
Trusts.
Trust. We're doing this on a Saturday, and because
The show was released
the
yesterday.
show dropped yesterday. Apparently, y'all are already freaking out about stuff yet to come that we haven't seen yet. So we're going to be binging
So
this
button
week.
it up. We're going to be talking about it.
We are going to be talking about it. So we get the normal beginning. They're all partying.
In WeHo, some club.
WeHo.
And Kevin just wants to bang Kelly or
He does.
date her.
Or either one's a win-win for Kelly.
Young, naive Kevin, hot Kevin from Grover's Corners.
Oh,
Come to the big city.
golly.
We're all seeing things through his eyes.
I love him.
He's quite gorgeous.
He is. I'm going to say that this episode isn't. What is some of him?
Quit touching your eye.
I have an eyelash in my eye that won't get out. Get out, little eyelash.
Riveting.
He has star quality to me.
Yeah, he does. I agree.
would see. Well, I'm going to talk about that later. But
I don't know
golly,
if he's
charming.
an actor.
He's a model.
He's
Every
a model.
tries to act. They all try it.
You said it with such derision in your voice.
No, that's
every model tries to
tries
act.
to act. They put their
They
jump.
all fail.
They get that Calvin Klein out, and then they want an Oscar.
Well, I think Travis Fimmel was in that show, who was the Calvin Klein model for a long time. Remember Travis with the long blonde hair?
Okay, see, you don't know this because you're completely out of this world.
Yeah. He's
was
on Vikings.
Okay, you sound like a gay idiot right now because he was on fucking Sex in the City.
Oh, I never watched
He was
it.
Miranda's boyfriend.
I know
And
it's
in the
weird.
second movie, we almost see his dick in it. Wait, it wasn't him, but it was another.
Are you sure that's Travis Fimmel?
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I shouldn't question you about male models.
You know what? I think it was Travis Fimmel. What if it's
Boy,
not?
if it's not, I'm going to throw your phone at your face.
Hey Siri, was Travis Fimmel in Sex in the City? Oh, Siri's not available. Golly. No, it was Travis. He played, what was his name? His name was,
Who cares?
well, now I'm wondering.
But he was on Vikings. That was like a real role for him. Like it wasn't like a stunt cast. And he was all kind of all scruffy and...
Who did he, he played Smith Jared on Sex in the City.
Okay.
That actually, you think he's attractive now? Sex in the City, Smith Jared was his hottest.
Okay.
I'm telling you, there were women eating some Funyuns at home and finger banging themselves, and a couple of gay guys who did that too. Not that I don't like Funyuns, but I love them.
This is weird. I never watched Sex and the City. I just didn't watch it at the time.
It's coming back.
I know. And
No Miranda.
people are saying no thanks. Not no Miranda, no no Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall.
No Samantha.
No Samantha. I'm kind of for. First of all, I don't like Big.
Let things go.
Carrie should have been with Adrian. I don't like Big. And also, y'all, and I can't, that Sex in the City 2 was bad when I tell you that it was one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen, even with a cameo of Liza Minnelli singing Single Ladies. It was still that bad.
That is something.
Because y'all know I love Liza Minnelli.
I don't think we can get any gayer right now.
We have the same birthday.
I didn't know that.
We do.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Can we talk
Let's
about
talk
the show?
about this show. Somebody's like, I was going to listen to fucking Bling Empire.
We lost
God damn.
everyone.
We lost everyone. Let's jump into this show. Remember when we said we're going to do short episodes?
Yeah.
Too late.
I'm just sitting here waiting on you to finish.
I will not be gaslit. Boy. Okay, so yeah, they're all partying and have fun. But then we kind of get to the main point. Y'all, and we're at the Chew
We're
residence.
at the Chew residence. We've had Anna. Anna's being invited over by Christine to talk about their misunderstanding the other night. Place card gate.
Place. Because, as we know from the last episode, Christine is being petty and Anna's having none of it. And so she sits her, what does she call them?
She's like, can you please put these cards over here? These are where the undesirables will be.
Yes, the undesirables. She sits her by her friends and all that. And so away from the rest of the group.
Away from the rest of the group. And you guys, Anna is the ultimate boss bitch.
Oh.
The power moves she pulls off. Also, this kind of quiet talking because she doesn't need to talk any louder.
You know,
I'm
you lean
so
in.
into it.
You lean
into Anna.
Oh, if I saw Anna out in public, y'all, because we live here new, we live in Los Angeles. If I saw, first of all, probably I can never even be in the same.
No, her bodyguard would haul you away as soon as she went,
Anna. She's not ever at Jack in the Box at 1 a.m. trying to get curly fries because she's hungover.
I think she has someone bring them to her.
Actually, I bet she would go through a drive-thru. She's kind of like Miss Pat. She's not that formal.
True, but she wouldn't go out at that time of night.
She wouldn't. So, anyway, y'all. So, they show up and they sit down. We could talk about it at,
length.
length. However, we do a thing on this show that we like to call
Reality Gaze Theater. That was very good.
You like that one?
I did.
Y'all, usually he chastises me.
No, you just know the song now.
That's the theme from
No.
Masterpiece Theater.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, this is, I promise y'all, exactly how it happened. We never stray from the...
We will not embellish.
We do not
script.
stray from the work.
Yeah.
So...
Script.
The
script is sacrosanct.
Poodle's going to be playing the role of Anna, and I'll be playing the role of Christine. So,
and sing.
Hi, why don't you sit down?
So
This will be
sorry.
great. Hi.
So sorry I'm late.
No, it's fine. I just thought we'd have a little chat, you know.
Oh,
You know,
yes, this looks lovely.
Oh,
Yes.
Sit here. Oh, is that jacket Dior?
Yes.
Is that from this season?
Yes.
Where'd you get it? Did you get it from Javier over at Barney's?
Yes.
You did?
Can
Did you tell
can
him
I
I said
please-
hi? I love his wife. Isn't she nice?
Can I have some wine, please?
Oh, sure. Is it ready to wear?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You know, I know by the
Yes.
silhouette. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Kill
Do you
me.
like my eyeliner? I put a lot on.
I know.
It's 2 p.m.
It's a lot. It's
Oh, okay.
quite
I
a
thought you
lot.
might like it. I like to get fancy.
You're a lot.
Okay, well, I was interested. That's so
Why am
fun.
I here?
So fun at your party. So fun. I really.
I know how to throw parties.
Yeah, it was great. I have, you sent me kind of by on the way other side of
Yes.
the table. Yeah.
Yes.
By your friend. I loved your friend. So sweet. We talked for hours. We had I think some of the best conversation I've ever had in my
I'm
life.
happy for you.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
Great.
Glad you had fun.
Yeah. Who knew I knew Spanish? I didn't.
Yeah, I seated you there because you knew Spanish.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
She's my best friend.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
You know,
Good.
seating is very, very important.
Oh, it is.
Tells you everything.
What? Oh,
It's
really?
how to throw a party.
Well, I just,
Do you know how to do that?
yes, I had to throw a party. I just thought, and the gift, a paperweight. We gave everybody we adopted a kid from China at my last party, and you gave me just a paperweight, I think, from Kmart. That one on 3rd that they closed. Did you get some sellout on that? I mean,
I think it's a Britney Spears store now.
oh, okay. Well, I thought you were going to give me a Rolex, Cartier.
What'd you do with those Chinese orphans?
Have you ever heard of malaria?
And scene. When bitch said, "Do you know malaria?"
Do you know
I'm
malaria?
I'm like, the tropical disease.
I know. She goes like, we're like, what? And apparently malaria was a
Malario.
Jeweler. Yeah, it's malario. But we both thought she said malaria.
And she's like, "No, Bouchon." And so Anna, who's barely talking.
Barely.
Talking in a whisper is the most power move you can make.
You really embodied her. I wish people could have seen that. It was very still.
It's very still. She lives in stillness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really that scene should have
Such
ended
a
with...
fucking boss.
Should have ended with Christine saying, "Do you want to be my best friend?"
And Anna goes, I was told there was dinner. You know what was another power move? When Christine said at the end, I feel like I'm only the one eating my own food. Anna didn't touch a single morsel of food.
Not at all. Not at all. And Christine says in her testimonial, she says, I know that I'm much, 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 much younger than Anna, but I'm not stupid.
If this
She's not stupid.
If this was
She's just
scripted,
thirsty.
if this was, yes, it's a reality show, so I'm sure part of it is scripted.
Oh,
but
I'm sure.
If this was scripted in such a way, would Christine let herself come off like such a completely venal idiot like she's being? It's to me, it's like she's really leaning into this.
She's really leaning. She seems very self-absorbed.
Yeah. She is. That's the character anyway.
Yeah.
That she's playing. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I think we did that pretty much.
But her scenes with Anna, as I said on her Instagram post, if either of them aren't fighting in a fountain by the end of this season, I'm out. Actually, I'm not. Their scenes are, as you say, chef's kiss.
Oh, they're just so... you can just tell Anna despises her.
She does.
But she's like, my mother taught me well, and I was taught with all manners and brought up like a lady.
Exactly. Exactly. And as Anna says, she's like, she can't ever equivocate herself to me because
she wasn't raised the way I was.
I was born into this and raised into this.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about, old money, new money.
It's very interesting. I'll be interested when we talk later, but it reminds me part of like Southern culture a little bit.
Yeah. Dynastic culture.
Yeah. It's a whole like...
where old wealth, because you don't have to work hard. You don't have to work hard to get respect. Mm-hmm. And Christine's working her tail off.
Oh, yeah.
Just to be the new queen.
And we're going to talk about her more because she's even dealing with that with trying to get a baby, but or not have a baby. But still, let's move on. Let's talk first let's go into a little bit about Anna.
So, yeah, we'll go back to Christine's and the Chius later.
Dr. G later. Dr. Chu.
Dr. Chu.
Dr. Chu and Baby G.
And
Sorry.
Baby G, the real star of the show.
Oh, that baby's so cute.
So, Anna is having Kevin over, and this is so Kevin who's like, so how long you been a bodyguard? He's talking to the bodyguard. Y'all, goons
again.
Goons are not supposed to talk to you.
Yeah, Anna got these goons from the goon stores.
They were rent-a-goons.
Yeah, rent-a-goons.
From Acme Goon.
Welcome to Acme Goons. What kind of goons do you want?
Doesn't matter, just someone who does the job.
Gotcha,
I
Miss
prefer
Anna.
if they don't speak.
Cash only. So, Anna sits Kevin down, and she basically says, look.
Her French friend Florent is there.
Florent.
And
Kevin speaks a little bit of French.
No, he doesn't.
And by a little bit, like nothing.
He speaks Fairly Brothers movie French.
But
like,
he does.
Je suis désolé, ménage à toi. And
I mean, if it was me, I would have been like, je te lâche, she has
escaped. Florent is your typical snobby French guy who's when he says menage a trois, he doesn't laugh. He rolls his eyes with a look with such disgust.
Such derision. Y'all, shady French people, especially from Paris, those people even know how to put poodle in this place.
They can breathe and they make you feel bad about yourself.
I'll never forget you telling that story of you going to a bakery and speaking French, and then they just looked at you and spoke back to you in English.
Yeah, if your accent's off the least bit in some parts of Paris, they'll just speak to you in English.
They're like, why bother?
Yeah. It's rough. But however, in the South or anywhere like that or in the South especially, if you try with your French, and I was there for a while longer, so I got better. But they're so happy that you're trying to speak. But here with us, we're like, your English isn't good. You know, in
Speak American.
We get really upset.
Get really upset. So yeah, she's like, Kelly needs to get rid of Andrew, so that's why
she's trying to matchmake him.
She's like, Kevin doesn't really have any fashion sense, as she says. It's not a good thing.
It's not good.
So
she just whispers.
Christian Dior store just shows up. Because y'all,
with like 4 Dior underlings who are wearing Dior shirts. She rented these as well.
Which I didn't know stores did this, and I thought, y'all, because y'all know Poodle and I's favorite store, and I thought,
Old Navy.
Would Old Navy come to our house with a clothing rack and set up?
The employee Charmaine would come in. She'd just file her nails the whole
and
time.
And then Gerald wearing his polo and his jeans. Well,
they could fit me. You know what? I could send someone home with $300 worth of clothes, and that'd be the whole store.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. So anyway,
and you know what? Old Navy, I can wear a small sometimes.
Golly, I love a medium from Old Navy.
I love those forgiving sizes.
Boy.
Not like a fucking Zara size.
Oh, fuck Zara.
Where I can't even wear a medium.
I feel like a fat pig.
Walrus.
Yes.
You walk in and they won't even talk to you.
Yeah, they just say, you can't fit in the door. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. Anyway.
Sorry, I don't have anything in your size.
Yeah.
There's nothing for you here.
So they start trying on clothes, and y'all, Anna just takes off her top and shows her tits.
Another boss move.
I'm
telling y'all,
move.
This is someone who takes... Now, she's probably, because she's been in France so long, it's okay to just do that. But the idea of just having she's just so okay with her body on camera, no less.
I wish I could be that rich that I'm just like, that's my balls, I don't care.
Alpha as fuck.
And you know what? She's got great tits.
I know.
She looks great.
I was taken aback because we're in this country and in the West in general. Well, maybe not European countries, but we're so puritanical. When we see boobs on television,
Yeah.
It's either like erotic or something like that.
There's that little kid in me that goes, boobies, boobies.
I actually, when she took off her shirt, I went, oh! I clutched my pearls.
You did. I was sitting right by you.
And so did Kevin.
And so did Kevin.
And all the other people were like, "Yep, seen it 1,000
Seen
times."
it 1,000 times. Florence like, yes, I see tits all the
Boss.
This is, y'all, that's what I've decided. I want to be so rich.
I want that.
That I can just be naked anywhere and I don't give a fuck.
I want it.
Oh. Anyway, so they're kind of talking. They're trying on clothes.
Kevin's trying to look away.
And yeah, he's like, I'm not going to look. And so anyway.
He's like Pretty Woman right now. He's like, oh. And then Florent like slaps the necklace thing.
Yes. Bum. And she's like, yeah, she laughs.
Big old horse laugh.
Yeah. Oh, I love her. Don't you come for her. I still like
didn't
Julia
come
Roberts.
for her.
Don't. She is Southern. You're not allowed.
I didn't come for her. I just said.
That'd be like saying you don't like Reese Witherspoon.
She's okay. I like Reese Witherspoon.
I have to stop the show.
I like Reese Witherspoon.
We're getting into a gray area that's going to make me angry. We need to move on.
It's all right.
They're trying on clothes, y'all. And Kevin's like, oh, my God, this feels amazing. Big disappointment of this scene is Anna takes off her shirt. Why not Kevin?
I agree. Why did Kevin put on these things over his shirt?
I want to see Kevin in his underwear.
I want to see his nipples.
Yes.
Maybe Florent tracing his abs with his finger.
Someone like looking at the spine of his back to his perfect little butt.
Yeah, with the music underneath.
I'm just saying. God.
Anyway, he's absolutely gorgeous.
He is.
I have a hard time. I flood my basement every time he's on screen.
Goosh, man, pussy wet. I'm telling y'all, if we saw him in real life, I think I would be speechless.
I think he...
And the fact that he seems so down to earth and nice makes it worse.
We posted on Instagram, and he
liked our post.
He liked our post,
and I
kind of got diddled.
I giggled and texted Poodle immediately and went, oh! I did.
Anyway, we're like schoolgirls.
It's true.
So after all of this, Anna is... Oh, by the way, she gives him a pair of $1,100, or tells him to try on the $1,100 shoes, the Dior shoes.
This is like... I hope this doesn't become like Hans Christian Andersen, the red shoes, where he just puts them on and he has to skateboard everywhere until he dies.
That would be a strange turn. He has to keep skateboarding until he dies. That'd be a morality tale right there.
But that's the story of the red shoes.
Yes, she must.
That is a gay reference. boy, because Hans Christian Andersen was a gay man.
I thought you were going to talk about Cinderella or something.
Oh, no.
But it does feel like Pretty Woman. He's seeing all this new for the first time and is questioning it.
She's his Richard Gere.
Yes.
But they're
non-sexual. Yeah. And Richard Gere never showed.
But Anna would fuck somebody younger. She totally would.
She would. So after that, he gets some clothes. So then Anna brings over Kelly.
I want to. Oh yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, talk about that. You're right.
And so she's got some designs of her own. So she's like, "What do you think about taking Kevin on a date?" And she's like, "But I have a boyfriend." She's like,
"Do you?
Do you?
Do you?"
Yeah,
I do. Like, we live together. I love him.
I don't really recognize your relationship.
Really? Really?
She doesn't, because basically she's saying you could find someone better.
She does.
That's a boss, y'all. I'm in awe.
Well, then she even says, "This is a great move." She's like, "Look, people are putting up with him just for you."
Yeah, she lays it out there,
and it says, "I've been married 4 times.
Happy marriages, happy
4
divorces,
great marriages, happy divorces, great divorces." And Kelly is kind of like, "Look, she's telling us that we're not seeing." I mean, maybe it's a bad edit, y'all, but I don't know.
No,
he seems
this
pretty
is typical
crazy.
abusive language.
Yeah, exactly. She says, "I see this great, very loving side of him that no one else sees." Y'all, this is an indicator. If no one else sees the loving and supportive side of the person you're with,
you're being
flag.
treated unwell.
That's a red flag. Your other friends, your family should be like, "Wow, Andrew teaches you so well. He's so kind to you. He's so good." They should see those things. If they don't see those things,
and remember, you
probably
guys,
means you're being controlled.
Your friends, if they're good friends, want nothing but the best for you.
And if your friends, good friends, don't like the person you're dating, step off.
Agreed.
I know that. The relationship I'm now started really like shady. We were kind of like fuck buddies. We met a line of people like he was an out, and people were like, "What the fuck?" But then when people met him, all of my friends were like, "Oh, I get it. He's like a normal guy." But if all my friends would have been like, "Matt."
Yeah. Would you have, though? If everyone?
I think I would have, yeah, because I talked to friends like, even some friends like, "Should I continue with this? What do you think?" And they were like, "Yeah, I think he seems like a good guy."
I see.
I really did, because honestly, I was single for 15 years, and I think I would have, because I had so many friends that came to me that were dating assholes.
Yeah.
And I've seen so much of like,
right,
let this person go, honey.
No, I get you.
I would tell you.
I would hope you would.
Oh, I would. I mean, I would, and I don't care how big his dick was. If I had to change the locks in the night and steal you away and take you to Palm Springs,
that kind of sounds fun.
I would. I would do it just to get you free. Because y'all, Poodle's very strong.
Not without my poodle.
not without my poodle. Coming to Lifetime this summer. Y'all, Poodle's very level-headed. Y'all see that side of him, and he's strong-headed. And he's better than he used to be. However, this bitch gets carried away.
I do get carried away.
If he meets a guy with an 8-inch dick and a British accent, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
He's gone.
See you later.
He's going to be dickmatized. Like, I'm going to have to, if that person's bad for him, I'll have to.
I've gotten better.
I'll call Jackie Wiseman, our Facebook moderator, and say, "Come get Poodle." She'll do it. So,
I think going on with Anna, one little...
I just want to say, she says with Kelly, because it's important to note later, she's like, "Well, let's you and I have a shopping day." And Kelly says, "Okay."
Yes.
Anyway.
So, Kevin is... there was a little talk we should talk about the guys' dinner, because that's going to be before this.
Yeah. So, Kane, Andrew, and Kevin are going out to eat.
Yeah, and I call bullshit, because there's no way Andrew is actually friends with these people.
No, you can tell. Kane and Kevin...
They're friends, probably.
Kane actually came to us on our Instagram.
And he's like, "I'm with Kevin right now."
He's like, "I'm with Kevin right now," and he's shirtless. And I responded to Kane and said, "Pics or it didn't happen," and I don't have a shirtless pic yet. I'm just saying,
fair.
Not fair. Kane, don't tease us. So, but I actually think they're friends in real life. I hope so. But yeah, Andrew is like, He's just here for a
he's
check.
Weird.
Well, we see that more.
I also we talked about in the first episode. There's something wrong. Also, I don't know what in the confessionals he looks normal, but in everything else he looks sick. Or it's so much makeup.
He has so much makeup. He looks sallow.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
He doesn't look good.
Or he looks like he's on something. Honestly, yeah.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah,
and so he cut his hair. He looks better.
Thank God.
Kane is like, oh my God, you're wearing to Kevin. He says you're wearing Dior shoes, and Kevin talks about shopping with Anna, and then Kane's like, oh, maybe she was testing you because sometimes rich people.
And he's like, wait, that happens.
And Kevin was same. I would have been the same too.
Poor Emily from Grover's Corners.
Poor
she
Emily.
Didn't know.
I didn't know. So
why would rich people do that?
So then this jumps into Kane. Is kind of like, well, see, and then he basically jumps on Andrew. He's like, so how are you and Kelly?
It's like, we're great. We're great. It's a great relationship, you know?
Kevin reaches his hand up and rubs the back of Andrew's head and says, that's great. And I got an erection. When Kevin, you can tell, is just comfortable in his body and who he is.
He's a model, yeah.
And when he touched the back of Andrew's head, even though Andrew's weird, but he's hot.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see them.
Well, I don't know if this happened to other people.
If y'all are interested...
But y'all, Poodle and I have...
We sometimes have weird Netflix reception.
My
television is really on the fritz. I don't want it to change.
We don't... It kind of went staticky.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was like... And all of a sudden, we hear a little bit of McDonough's hung up, like... And we're like, what is that noise? And then suddenly, the restaurant is totally empty, and Kane and Andrew are there... And they're looking at one another.
Kevin and Andrew.
Or Kevin and Andrew. And, Kane went to the bathroom, I guess. And then Kevin and Andrew are just staring at each other. And
yes.
Were they shirtless on your TV?
I think we missed an edit.
Yeah.
They were shirtless and just kind of painting each other's bodies with some type of blue body paint. Everything was glowing.
There was, yes. There were...
A lot of black lights.
Andrew was doing circles around Kevin's nipples with his fingers. And then...
said, this feels good.
Yes. And then...
all of a sudden, they embraced one another.
And started kissing.
Yeah. And then they fell on top of each other. And then
they started 69ing.
What I can only describe as a horizontal Dutch door.
Yeah. Woo! And then about 5 minutes later, their waiter came over and handed them a napkin to clean up.
I passed out.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad that was what we both...
Time goes by.
Oh, how many times at a club?
How many times? Anyway, y'all.
So after...
Come at us and let us know if that happened on your TV as well.
Magically...
Anyway, we're back
They were back. Everything
Clothes
they've already
back
had.
on.
Yeah.
Blue paint is gone. They've cleaned up.
He's basically saying, it's a relationship. We don't just get 180 degrees. We get like 360. I mean, we get everything. It's like we get the whole pie. And like we evolve like the planet. You know how like earthworms, when someone cuts them in half, they grow back? And we're like a figure 8. You know that like Schoolhouse Rock commercial? It's like, a figure 8, it'll make it great. What's the word I'm thinking of? Infernal? Is it infinity? Just the stupidest, douchiest conversation. What a complete tool.
Even Kevin said in a testimonial, he's like
he's a douchebag.
And even Kane says, or Kevin, one of them says, you mean 180.
Everyone on reality television needs to go to some quick course of how to use angle degrees or circumference.
They all say our relationship made a 360.
We made a complete 360,
honey,
or a 180, or a 45-degree angle,
or 90 if you want to make a move,
or a obtuse angle, or something. I just
stop saying 360.
Yeah, and
it just means you got back to where you started.
I'm sad that he did a total 180, has now become in our vernacular.
Well, this is where we start to get the crazy, because Kane says, I really like Kane, by the way. He's very nice.
I think the producers get him because he has an affable manner. He knows so he can bring up.
Well, I say that. I think Kane kind of does what, probably you too, but I feel like I'm that friend where a lot of friends feel like we can talk about I think people do that. We can talk about personals, and we can say things, and people don't feel defensive about it.
Yeah, and he's not threatening.
So I think he thinks that Andrew will take this well. However, Kane says, "Well, Kelly tells me that you're not having enough
anal sex from you.
Anal sex. This does not go over well with Andrew."
He's like, I don't know why anyone's talking about my personal life.
That's inappropriate. And then Kevin says, "Wait, dude, you don't want to get kinky like that?" And Kevin says, I love it.
He's like, I'd pinch hit for you.
And then, I don't know if this happened on other people's TVs, but it got staticky again. Suddenly, all the wait staff now is in this
Madonna's
room.
hung up, comes on again.
And Kevin's just butt-fucking Andrew saying and singing that song for Waiting for Guffman, Teacher's Pet.
Yeah.
Teacher's Pet. I want to be teacher's pet. You'll take it.
And Andrew's like, yeah, I can get down with this.
I can get down with this butt sex
I'm okay
stuff.
with this.
I just needed to be on the receiving
end,
not the top end.
Yeah.
Anyway, suddenly in a flash, we're back in the restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And Kevin just
Andrew's
looks
still
weird.
very upset.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. And they're talking about getting married, and he's like, I'll go to the ring go get the ring with you.
Yeah.
Andrew's weird, y'all.
He's weird.
There's like, some social issues.
Either he's a very, very good actor, or he's weird.
Go Power Rangers!
Y'all,
he was the red
Power Ranger
in some movie or something like that.
I don't know.
It's a shame they covered that face up with the helmet.
It is, but he still wears those weird contacts, I feel like.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
he looks sick. Weird.
So Kevin then, I like this episode because we talked about that, but I like this episode did what you said you hoped in the first episode. A lot of this was through Kevin's eyes.
It's the smartest thing for the show to do.
It really makes the show work, and because we're all like, oh. So Kevin's
because he's kind of an everyman, even though he's a really gorgeous everyman. This
is what I want to talk about, where I feel like Kevin's a star. Is Kevin goes to Anna's house, and he shows up at Anna's house, and he knocks on the door, and Anna opens her little peephole, and she's
very much like the guy in Oz.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You're here to see the wizard.
Anyway,
the wizard sees nobody. No how.
Woo. It's so she opens the door, and then Anna's like, "Wait, you're coming in?" He's like, "No, I'm not coming in." And
another power move.
This is where casting directors, someone put Kevin in a romantic comedy, because he becomes so kind of awkward.
Yeah,
and overthinking, and it's.
Remember, reality TV acting is different than regular acting.
I don't know. It made me fall in love with him.
Okay,
this scene, he was just so befuddled, and I loved it.
I think he's an authentic person.
I'm going to share a bed with him.
I was just wondering. I said on the first episode, I would let him destroy me.
But no, it's like the first episode was like, fuck me. Second episode,
I like him. Yeah,
second
I really
episode
like him.
is date me.
I really like Kevin. I really like Kane.
I do too.
I like Kelly, although I think she's
like
a
Kelly.
lot of work. Fucking love Anna.
And I like Sherry. We're going to talk about her.
Yeah, I don't really know her.
We don't know her yet.
So but yeah, Christine and Dr. Gabe can go fuck themselves for me. We'll talk about themselves.
Well, yeah, we'll see. So,
yeah.
we're this is not going to be a short episode. We say it is, but it's not.
We. Anyway, so Anna, she goes outside to talk to Kevin. Ultimate power move. No, you're not coming to my house before I say it's ready.
True.
So he's like, I want to give this back to you, because he's thinking about what Kane said about rich people testing you, and he's like, this might have, I don't. It's not good for me to take this, and he's like, it's rude to give gifts back, honey. And she said,
in any culture. And that is true, y'all. You do not give a gift back.
I agree. So, and she said, remember, don't let the clothes wear you.
Don't get impressed by things.
Yeah, I don't get impressed by things. So she's all
Be impressed by people.
She's very J-Lo. I'm a real,
Yes, she is.
Even though it's Anna, she's not fully real.
And then, and then she hasn't put on the shoes and he skateboards away.
He skateboards away. Goes and buys himself a snow cone.
And she says, this is important to note, maybe next time we can go on a shopping trip.
Yes.
Y'all, who did she tell that to? Kelly. I see future episode. I think that's it for Kevin. Or at least with Anna and all.
Let's talk about Cherie's little thing at the very end.
Okay.
So this is our first. We see them very, very briefly. Cherie and Jesse, her kind of boyfriend.
She's the one that uses filters, and I'm pretty sure, Cherie, if you're listening, come at me if these are, because I don't mean to talk about your appearance, but I think she uses contacts that make her eyes look bigger, right?
I don't know.
Either that or she has fucking Disney princess huge eyes.
I don't know.
They're pretty, but they're also kind of freaky because I feel like she always has a filter on.
Yeah. It's even in person, not just...
Even in person.
Yeah.
Like her eye...
They're quite large.
They're so big.
Her irises look large.
Her irises look very large.
So we find Cherie is an heiress to a denim empire, and Jesse is an heir to a furniture empire. So a match made in heaven.
They're rich. Again, Poodle ruined things for us.
So they already have a child. She's very pregnant with another.
Yes.
And she was a pop star in Japan, and then her mother wanted her to be a doctor or a lawyer, and so that she kind of let all that go. They're talking about her mom, and her mom just passed this year from pancreatic cancer, which is one of those cancers that you guys, once they find it, you don't have very long.
It's very hard.
So, and basically, Kane's been helping her through Buddhist prayers, and kind of, he said, in Buddhism, the soul stays in the body for a while, and he's been, in a way, trying to help her, go into the light, Carol Ann.
Yes.
In that kind of sense. And so they're trying to do another prayer. He gets emotional, thinking, thank you for letting me share in this
She's crying.
with you. She's crying. Kane's trying to cry.
Crying. We didn't see if Kevin cries. What I loved about this is that I think Kevin is the gateway to this show.
Yeah.
Kane is the heart.
I think we're going there. Yeah.
I think Kane is the heart of this show, and it's just, he just seems, I think what I love about Kane is that, to be honest, y'all, when you look at him, look at his Instagram and all that, he seems so superficial and shallow, honestly. Yeah. And so it's this whole thing of, don't judge a book by their cover. This is a person.
I think he's an authentic person. He just likes flashy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, y'all, if we had the money, Poodle would only wear caftans that have only. He would have so many head wraps. I've already told you, I would have so many huge diamond rings.
Yeah,
I would probably just wear those.
Your style would be so gauche.
Oh, and you know what? Yes, it would totally. And you probably would only wear like embroidered slippers everywhere.
Oh yes,
because you don't
only
really
Lux.
Like shoes anyway.
No, hate shoes.
And you would go. He would go into St. Patrick's Cathedral just barefoot because he was that rich.
St. Patrick's Cathedral.
I don't know why I said that cathedral.
So, that's the end of that.
So they all have a sweet little friendship. Yeah. It was sweet.
So the Chius, we're going to talk about the Chius kind of in general.
She's going to have that baby soon because she's about to pop.
You mean Cherie?
Cherie, yeah. Let's talk about the Chius. Yeah.
So they go to in her best outfit to visit their embryos. Wave at the embryos.
Hi, babies.
I will say that their segments are the hardest for me to handle. Maybe it's my distaste for Christine, but I feel like their segments are also so hyper-produced.
They're very produced. I think it's, we talked about this before, that thing that Dolly Parton says, that there's three parts of ourselves: the person you really are, the person you think you are, and the person people see you as. I think Christine those three things are very different for her. And I
Yeah.
think that she's very concerned all the time with how she's perceived. Because we're hearing that, you guys, was it the first episode or was it this
End of this episode
where they filmed the video? Oh, yeah. So, like, she's worried about not just what people think of her, but what her in-laws think of her. And she's talked about how she had all this pressure to develop a male heir.
Yeah.
I think what is I not like, but I thought is so that probably people related to is that yes, Christine and Dr. Chu have so much more. It is quote unquote easier for them to have a baby because they have money.
Yeah.
And they're able, because it's several $100,000s to do this.
Oh yeah.
At least with a surrogate.
The privilege to do surrogacy and to freeze your embryos.
So they have privilege, but it's still, I think there's something very humanistic and I hate that women put so much blame, shame, and guilt on themselves if they're not able to have a baby and carry a baby. No matter how rich or poor you are, I think women...
I think that there is actual blame, though, coming from his parents.
Yes, as well. No, yeah. So I just think... I felt for her in that moment because for any woman, that is such a hard thing. Because, y'all, I just want to say now, if you can't carry a baby, that does not make you less of a woman, a human. You are... It is okay.
Yes.
Get support for that. Don't sit in shame in that.
I think... Do you think...
So that made me feel for her.
So she had fertility issues, definitely.
Yeah.
She doesn't... She basically says, we don't know if it's a medical issue for her to have another child, or to her to carry another child. She already... They already say it's going to be IVF, because I think their first child was IVF.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So it kind of got me thinking. So it must have had to do something with, I think it's probably her fertility issues.
Yeah.
So they're talking about getting surrogacy. They wave to their embryos. Baby G is just being adorable.
Yes.
And Gabe basically says they're kind of in her office and she's breaking down. They're talking to their doctor.
Yes.
And she's like, it was so hard for me. And Gabe is saying it was really hard because I thought I was going to lose you both.
And he's crying.
Yeah.
Gabe is crying. And so, and he really wants to have another baby.
Yeah.
And he said, but I don't want to have...
sibling.
But he said, I don't want to have a baby at the risk of losing you. I'm
Right.
fine with surrogacy. I'll tell my parents that's the way it is. They'll have to support
And she's
that.
like, we'll see about that. I don't think they're going to like that surrogacy thing.
So they make a video at home that they send to his parents and basically telling his parents, like, we want to have another baby. Do you approve of
With
surrogacy?
the baby. Right, Baby Chu?
Right, Baby
you
Chu?
want a sibling.
It was kind of like Baby G Comedy Hour. Kind of like one year we did a cabaret show that was a Christmas show, and Poodle was bound and determined to do a Baby Jesus Comedy Hour.
with a cigar, and
it didn't go over
didn't go
well.
over well.
It didn't go over well. It was Poodle in one of those cutouts with the baby, like with the doll form on the front, and he just stuck his head in it.
And I said filthy things, kind of like an Andrew Dice Clay comedy routine. Kind of
Crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Screamed, I see some fine-looking pussy in the place tonight.
As Baby Jesus. I think that video was deleted.
Yeah,
Shocker.
I think that was a good thing for us to get away from. So they're saying, and he's on the video with Baby G. He's saying, it would be we're thinking we're going to do surrogacy because it'd be a shame if we lost mommy too. And I'm like, oh my God,
that is and I'll be interested to talk to our friends and podcasters, but I'm like, whoa. So I've heard of Jewish guilt. I know of Southern guilt. I feel like there's this culture of like Asian guilt too. Must be a thing.
And she in her confessional, Christine says, I just don't want another baby. So she's trying to use any...
But that's what's kind of gross to me.
Yeah.
Is that she just doesn't tell him, I don't want another baby. She says, I don't want... Because honestly, y'all, I don't think she wants to... Because he really wants to have a girl. Guess what? Christine wants to be the only woman in this household.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to share that.
I don't think that would be good. No bueno. for a girl in the
They
in the
need
household.
to have another boy and just hope it's a gay son.
I know.
That's what Christine needs.
Yeah, she does. Hopefully, baby Chew, baby
It'll be
G.
like, what's her name? Is it Michelle from Salt Lake City and her son? Why can I never?
No, not Michelle. Meredith
Brooks.
Ugh.
Brooks and her son
Not
Brooks.
Meredith Brooks. Her
Meredith
son.
and her
Meredith
son-
Brooks has the song "Bitch." I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a child. I'm a mother.
I'm a.
Y'all don't reference that song on Facebook because you'll get banned.
You can't say
You'll
bitch
get in
anymore on
jail.
Facebook. So anyway, nothing helps just get over everything of a modeling shoot with your baby in a little Lamborghini throwing money around. And Christine's like, well, I wanted to do a shoot to help him get into private school. And Kevin comes over to, I guess, help modeling. And that's where we find
They're
out.
like, he's one.
Yeah, we find out in conversation. And again, Kevin, if you're going to teach even a baby about modeling, take off your shirt. Come on.
She's like, you got to look sexy. And she's like, what do I do with that? And he's like, I don't know if you can tell the baby to look sexy. And I was like, sexy baby.
Sexy baby. But basically, that's where she says, I don't want to have another baby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin really wants to be here. So the next...
He's like, I'm ready to leave this photo shoot.
The next thing, the parents, Dr. Chius says, guess what? I found out my parents are okay with surrogacy. They said, okay, sure. Fine with us.
And she's like,
we need to talk about this more. You know when I said that thing about surrogacy?
This reminds me of when Poodle is fucking a guy who's in a relationship and Poodle says, you know, I'm not going to date you.
Because you're in a relationship.
You can't know all my time unless you're... And then that guy comes over to Jake's house and says, guess what? I broke up with my boyfriend. And
I go, you know what? You know what? I wish you kind of hadn't done that. Because I'm kind of seeing someone. But you told me we couldn't date because I was in a relationship. Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time you did that, I think I'd at least have $10.
Maybe not 10.
8.
Maybe 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
A fickle pickle.
Still waiting out a couple of those relationships.
That's what Christine is, a fickle pickle. And she basically says, I'm not, y'all, because Christine has control issues.
Yeah,
she has
definitely.
So she said, I'm not comfortable with surrogacy because she said in this episode, I'd have to lock them up and watch them 24 hours.
Yeah, I would hate to be her surrogate.
And Dr. G gets pissed.
She's just like, my vote's no. And he's like,
Gabe's
well,
like,
I have a vote too, and my vote is the opposite of your vote.
And then he walks up and leaves. And then the producer says, wait a minute, because they're talking in the testimony. And the producer says, is there more to this story?
Yes.
Yes. And then we're left with a cliffhanger.
So that's the episode, y'all.
That's the episode.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with our guests from Add to Cart. You guys, we are here with Kulap Vilaysack and Suchin Pak from Add to Cart, a brand new podcast. Well, as far as November goes. And we're so happy to have you guys here with us to talk about episode 2 of Bling Empire, Netflix's new show about the glamorous life of Asians and Asian Americans in Los Angeles. In one word, first of all, Suchin, one word, what do you think of the show?
Right. In one word, I would say just one word. Is hot mess a one word? Is
Hyphen it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a hot, waxy, melty mess. It's delicious.
Kulap?
Produced.
Yes. Within an inch of its life.
Every centimeter has been Botoxed. There is filler.
Oh.
In places we didn't know could be filled.
Somehow they added.
That's a great word. Filled. That's another word, adjective for the show.
They added filler to the actual film, even though it's digital. They somehow added filler. Even the credits, like the letters are bigger.
Very plump.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us for this.
Yes,
we wanted to talk to some different podcasters because we have lots of opinions, And you guys, your new podcast is all about consumerism and what we are adding to our carts and what we are removing. So first of all, tell us about your show and maybe think about how this show might tie in with that. What do these people need to get out of their carts?
I'm sure we're going to be talking about this on our show next week, Kulop, now that we
of course. So our show, Add to Cart on Lemonada Media, wherever you get your fine podcast, is about all of the things that we buy into and what that says about who we are. And so, I mean, Suchin, would you like to launch in and how that applies to, say, Kevin or Christine?
Christine.
I mean, I'm adding and removing all of those people to my cart so fast, so quickly. I don't even know who's left in my cart. The thing is I was only going to watch the first 2, and then
what happened? Susan watched more.
I watched the entire season.
It's so good. We just
and
finished.
So now I have
episode 6.
People in and out of my cart that weren't in and out of my cart on episode 2. So going back to our show, we talk about everything. We talk about, whether we're adding face masks or reality shows, or last week we talked a lot about Bridgerton.
Sure.
First we did. And about the female gaze, which means, buns. Yes. And so,
male butts.
Male butts.
So wonderful Venn diagram of our podcast.
Yeah, we're with you there. That masturbation scene still, I was watching it on a plane and I was physically flushed. And the woman beside me was just like,
I think, how do you think Connie from South Carolina felt? Yeah.
Daryl, he is watching some kind of thing where a woman is touching herself.
And for Jake to say, I mean, I have to imagine that it takes a lot for you to blush, especially.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, exactly. So we devoured that. We added that to our carts. And so this is just going to be another show that we talk about whether we're going to add to, remove. It'll probably be a little bit of both. But yes, Kevin. Wait, Kulop. Kulop has a really good friend that she talks about a lot. Korean Kevin, I call him, because
he's Korean and Kevin.
Yes, and I'm Korean. I'm not Kevin, but I get very jealous. I like to make sure that I am the only Korean in anyone's cart. And if there's another Korean, that Korean is, of course, not superseding my Koreanness. So she talks about her Korean Kevin, and then there was a Korean Kevin that came on to the show, to Bling Empire, and I was like, is that Korean Kevin? That's not your Korean Kevin, is it?
If you know him, you need to introduce us.
Yes.
Oh man, that man,
gorgeous.
God bless.
Gorgeous. Now, Suchin, do you recall, like a little over a year ago, there was like a Kickstarter going around for his doc? And I think he knows Naya, our good friend Naya, who runs Walden Media, Babysitters Club. Hi. But he's amongst us. He's around us.
I mean, sweet Kevin.
Sweet baby. I called him poor Emily from Grover's Corners. New to the big city.
I mean, that's generous.
His pal Bessie behind him.
What did he put all that Dior stuff that Anna gave him in? I was trying to read the bag, the plastic bag. Where was the bag from? It was like from it
was like from Oz or something, like on Sunset. I had no idea. It was just a shitty bag.
More generic. I think it was like Vaughn's or I mean, it was truly. I was like, you couldn't find a sturdy Target plastic bag. You couldn't find something else.
He skateboarded up to her house.
I know.
Anna's like, what is Vaughn's?
What is plastic bag? And then
I've never heard of Vaughn's.
No, wait, and what about this? Anna was like, no, you can't come in.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening in Anna's house?
Y'all, the boss ass moves.
Happening?
The boss ass moves that Anna pulls on this show.
Someone's in yeah, she opened the little peek door. Someone is in her bedroom in a ball gag reading that anal book. Right now. And they can't leave.
Or it's her friend in her her
the
lady
French guy,
friend, Maria.
Oh yeah, someone.
The French guy. The French guy.
Y'all, there are so many mysteries in Anna's life.
So many.
Oh, she's the star. The show doesn't work without Anna.
It's true. So
why is she doing it?
That's what I wanted to ask. Like,
why is she doing it? Like, anybody. Why is she? She's bored.
She's bored. Sledgehammering closets. She's so
in a formal gown.
So,
she's bored.
Do you think she's doing this to just not be bored?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I did a little bit of research. And when I say
you are a journalist.
I wanted to know what the people were saying. You know what I mean? I wanted to and the people are generally quite enthusiastic, which I was surprised about. And it's not that I didn't like the show. You know, I think because we're Asian, we have, rightfully so, I mean, our filters are quite different consuming this type of stuff. So when I saw this at first, I was like, oh, my people's going to take a hit.
That's been a general reaction. Yeah.
It's going to be real hard to scoop ourselves out of this mess. And so there wasn't a lot of that, which I was a little bit surprised about. And then number two, you're right. It is produced within an inch of its life. But Christina and Anna were approached by the producers almost a year ago, and they're the ones that sort of brought this group together. So I do believe Anna did it because she's bored. Maybe she doesn't really know how reality TV shows work. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Like
she might have never seen
in
one
her
ever.
Own, yeah, and I can't imagine. I just think that she's just so bored out of her mind and probably lonely.
Her kids had kind of left. She'd raised her kids. She said, "I'm ready to come back into society." So her
son is reported to have the most expensive bong collection. That's his job. No, literally, that's what it said in one article, that he had a bong that he bought for $1 million. So
it's
lonely.
But
you can't hang out with someone like that, even if that's your son, for too long.
Does it work better than other bongs?
It better.
It better.
I mean, it tickles your nether regions while you rip it. It gives you a facial.
It feeds you Taco Bell afterwards. Like he does everything.
It Q-tips your ears.
Okay,
I mean, yes.
So that's interesting because my assumption was that Kevin put this together, having done no research.
That's what the show wants us to kind of believe. To me, just I was relating this to kind of other Netflix reality shows like Selling Sunset, which is a hot bag of trash, which is absolutely wonderful if you haven't watched it.
Watched every season.
Oh, I had no idea you were such a reality hoe.
I mean, the hoiest of the hoe for reality shows. Yeah.
But so a lot of these shows have this kind of young lady from Grover's Corners, fresh-faced, into the city, even like Elsie from The Hills.
Yeah,
and Kevin is their young ingenue. And so it feels like, but now that I've heard that you say that Anna and Christine it makes so much more sense.
I haven't verified these sources, so you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what they say. But you know, the thing is, in Kulap, I don't know. Okay, Kulap and I are both Asian American, but we are, I mean, I'm from an immigrant family. She's from a refugee family. I mean, when I say that I relate to 1% of the show, like I've seen a skateboard, you know what I mean? Like that's about the extent I relate. And I mean, I couldn't tell you anything about this show in terms of my experience being Asian American, but I have a sense that if you're that wealthy and Asian, and that circle is so small and so exclusive that someone like Kevin coming in, I don't care who you are, I don't care what your following is, I don't care what your abs look like, I'm not signing up to do a reality show with the guy who's up coming up on a skateboard. Do you know what I mean? Holding a Vons bag full of Dior goods. Like, that's not who. So to me, at least when I read that, that made a lot of sense, that it would be someone like the Annas and the Christinas who then ushered in the Cheries, and the, other
Kim and Kane. Let's talk about Kane.
Oh. Well, but you brought up something that I thought was interesting. Jake and I have lived in Los Angeles for 17 years, and y'all live in LA. And so I think for me, it was did you know, I know you didn't relate to anything. Did you know of this world? Because honestly, I didn't even know this world existed in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that level of wealth. Like, I was watching going, wow, people like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like, they don't even know that there's wealth above that. Like, they can't shut down Rodeo Drive. Like, that's
and
bonkers.
Children as adopted children
it was like Oprah. You get an orphan. You get an orphan.
I mean, there was orphans in the go home bag. I don't. Yeah, I'm
just and looking down at paperweights. But I don't know that wealth myself, but yes, I know about capitalism and parachute kids and that's always been around me in some way.
Because I know there's that upper level of like West Hollywood gays that are super rich or super famous, and I know about those. Like the people that hang out with
Bryan Singers and
hang out with Lance Bass and all, and I'm not a part of that at all. So that's why I asked, kind of like, it's a word I knew of.
Well, why am I even friends with you?
Well, you know what? If you had any fucking morals and would have fucked your way to the top when you were a young twink.
It's the truth. I squandered my youth.
Oh, yes. You got HPV for nothing.
Oh, that's the truth. I got it for love.
Anyway, so that's why I asked that. So that's interesting that because I think that probably a lot of people that are not Asian that live in it think, oh, well, everybody, because they make it sound like it's, they almost make it sound like in the show that like everybody in like Asian culture knows about this. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I don't think a lot of people relate to this, Asian, white, or whatever. Nobody's this way.
No one relates to this.
Yeah.
No. I mean, but they do make it clear. It's like Anna comes from military and arms money.
Can you imagine a worse karma? To sell munitions?
I think we're seeing the karma play out.
Yeah, no
maybe.
shit.
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, Anna's a queen, but she's also the most tragic figure.
Yeah.
Of them all.
Can we talk about I want to talk about standards of beauty on this show.
Okay.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
There's not a shred of it that I can see on the show.
Jake, you said that, and Kulop's face looked like somebody just threw up in her lap. She was like, "Oh, okay."
Because I know. I mean,
yeah.
I know. We talk about, obviously, we talked before this. So much Botox, so much fillers. This show is packed with this. But just the standard of beauty, even how Cherie filters her photos to whether she doesn't even look human anymore.
I still think she wears contacts to make her eyes look bigger, or her eyes are just huge. It looks like it though to me.
Even her irises, yeah. And I want to just, because I know, Suchin, you've been on Oprah talking about your kind of struggle with beauty and self-conception, and especially for Asian women. What are you seeing? Everything you were worried about play out on this show?
I mean, this goes above and beyond. But yes, I mean, I think that that's such a great question, especially when it comes to Asian American identity specifically. We all know this, that, you may not know this, but, Korea is like the number one plastic surgery capital in the world. And, plastic surgery and getting your eyes done or your nose done or, cheek fillers or your jaw line, that's just par for the course. That's a that's a graduation gift, and if you can't afford that, then you're looked upon. It's not plastic surgery is not frowned upon. It's seen as a status of wealth. And, in Asian cultures, certainly in East Asian cultures, only I can speak to, but like, when you turn in a resume, you have a photo with your resume. You know what I mean? People really value what you look like, not in terms of like, are you just beautiful, but like they assign and assume a lot of things about the way you look, so beauty and the way you look and how valuable it is to you, as a worthy human being is ingrained in you in these cultures since birth. So,
and it's a way to elevate your status.
And I'm not surprised that it's gone to this extent. We live in LA. We've seen, but I have never seen just the concentration of Asian faces that distorted in 1 hour. Usually you'll get sporadics where I'm like, whoa, that's a crazy Asian lady lion face. But I'm not like next to another crazy Asian lion face, next to another crazy Asian lion, So I was taken aback. I mean, Kane.
I know.
Oh, the fillers. Yeah.
The cheekbones.
What about the other guy? Is his name Guy?
Guy Tang, the stylist. Those pec implants, those are boobies. Those are moobies.
Yes. He was like, I want breast implants on my cheeks.
Yeah.
What?
He said he wanted the breast implants in his cheeks, Guy. Do you remember that? He's the one that went with him. And
guys, I've only watched 2.
Okay.
You're not going to watch the rest?
What you guys have to also know about me is that I worked in reality TV. I was a producer for America's Got Talent. I did a lot of, even before producing, a lot of logging. So that is like hours and hours.
That's trauma with your face. That's
6 days a week logging where I could go, they'd let me go to commercial auditions, but like and then transcribing interviews, like all those talking heads. Like I would be the one who would have to go, ... mispronounced, unintelligible. And then like, it just like tapes and it's, like, so when I say produced, because I know how the sausage is made. I know how people are involved, like how they play a factor in the character that they're doing, and then also what they think they're playing and what you're consuming can sometimes not the same, which I think is what Anna and everybody. So it's hard for me to stick with a reality show, even though my husband watches almost everyone, has never missed an episode of Survivor, Big Brother, Bachelor, Bachelorette. Like
it's
watches.
Addictive.
That's surprising.
To me, I always feel like I'm watching, like you said, when you know how the sausage is made, it's a whole different idea. But the concept of people being edited to behave in a different manner than they actually are, or so and so. We cover 90 Day Fiance, so it's always people always say, I got a bad edit, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, you were a monster. They just did their best, and they just gave you the most monster bits.
But that brings up a good question, Kulap. Like from your perspective, like if Suchin, what you're saying, if Anna and Christine were kind of at the helm of this, I don't think this show puts Christine in the best light. She looks kind of like a vapid, petty person. And even in this episode, she's talking a little bit about they want to have a baby, or they're thinking about having another baby, and the pressure of lineage and all that kind of stuff. But the way she looks like she's kind of like, telling her husband she wants a baby, but she doesn't really want, like. So what was your perspective on that as kind of how this makes her look?
Self-delusion is an amazing thing. It's powerful. If it could power our lights, we'd never need oil. We'd never need fossil fuels. If our dreams and our delusions
she could power Beverly Hills, Orange County. I mean, she could power a few counties.
Oh yeah,
with
California for sure.
Yeah, we actually, on the first part of this podcast, we reenacted the entire Christine Anna conversation, almost word for word. So there's a TikTok out there called Two Bottoms Trying to Order from One Another, at like for retail, and it's like, hi, how are you? So good to see you.
How are you?
And they're at Starbucks, and one says, I'll have a medium. He's like,
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. We only have
It's
small
so
and large. I don't know what that is. Can't help you.
What are you doing?
It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. The whole conversation could have been that.
And this is so, yeah.
And each thinks the other, like, they think they're so clever.
Yeah.
Like that they're playing chess.
This is Queen's Gambit to them.
It really.
Wait, is this the episode right when she's like, is that
Dior?
Is that Dior ready to wear?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how long are we going to be sitting here talking about shoulder pads? That's the deepest cut. Look at her. That's the deepest. There's so many other. What it looks like are two friends. Look at her. Who got together and we're like, honey, this is what you can talk about. You can talk about my silhouette. You can talk about ready to wear and my jewelry. And like, that's what it sounds like. Because those aren't cuts. Yeah,
no.
Cool up.
My God,
those are two friends that respect each other, and so they're going to talk about some
Good point.
bullshit. But I do think Christine, especially, is so deluded that she thinks she's coming off as a sympathetic boss bitch, and it's none of those things, right?
No.
And this storyline with her pregnancy and her in-laws, that I do believe is totally true, and I do believe this woman has probably experienced quite a bit of pain.
Yeah, there's trauma. There's definitely trauma.
100%. But the way that she even processes that trauma, and I'm not even saying it's her fault, is so bonkers that it's even hard to relate to that. You know, it's like, then she has to say, because he's from a Chinese dynastic family. That's when I'm off the train. You know, I'm on the train with you of like, yeah, it sucks to be only seen and valued by you bringing a son into this family, but then to go off and
baby, she's a prince.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she kind of loses whatever humanity that she thinks she's putting out there, and it feels cheap when it should be quite painful, and it's painful to watch, but nobody even takes it seriously, I think.
When she watches this show, I guarantee you she will say, "What have I brought?" Because
really,
do you think? I don't think she'll have. You know, I've mentioned this, I think, on one of our.
Maybe she doesn't
podcasts.
have that kind of self introspection.
She doesn't. Again, it goes back. Yeah, I've said this before, and Poodle's heard it, but I always talk about how, like, I remember once, like, Kenny Rogers was on Oprah talking about why people love Dolly Parton, and so I kind of like, as a therapist and a person, I've kind of molded my life to this in high school because I was gay as hell. But
you've changed so much since then.
But like he said, Kenny Rogers, rest in peace, said, I think people have three parts of themselves: the person they really are, the person they think they show to the world, and then the person people actually see them as. And he said, I feel like Dolly Parton is able to meld those three things together so well. And that's kind of our journey in life, is to meld those three things together. Christine's three parts are one is in China, another part is maybe in like South Africa, and the other part's in fucking Alaska. Like, they're so disparate. And I think when she watches this, I don't think that will come to her at all.
Yeah, that's true.
She might have just heard that too, because she follows us on Instagram. So, Christine, sorry for coming for you.
Y'all, these are the thirstiest hoes in the world. We literally put out a picture. They're all following us now.
No.
We are destroying them on the podcast.
Okay.
Kane has been commenting, and I do kind of want to be friends with Kane, and I do still want to suck Kevin's dick.
No shame in that game. I mean, there's
Matt. Don't say kind of. We're friends.
No, true. I would be like a fat girl at a hot dog
that's-
convention.
there you go. There you go.
All right.
I want him to destroy me.
Yeah.
Kane, if not for his sweetness, like I'm like, okay, there's
So
a little bit of
sweet.
heart. Okay, good. But talking about my time in the the belly of reality TV in pre 2007, 2006. Okay.
Oh wow.
So
that was like bam. It was like huge then.
early, right? So like 2005, I remember talking to, because I also worked in casting for a show that never aired, which was about white rappers. Anyways,
You must have PTSD, Kulop.
She can't watch past episode 2 of any reality show.
it's true. I remember them talking about how hard it was to cast Asians. So hard because nobody wanted to look like a fool. People's parents wouldn't allow it. We have reached just to call out, like
That's progress.
exactly. Because we have
progress.
this. We have House of Ho now, or no? That's not right.
Wonderful.
That's not right. Is that right? House of Ho.
House of Hope.
Okay. I haven't seen that yet,
Oh,
but
it's wonderful. It's
okay.
It's cuckoo, more docu style, but it's and also more problematic near the end. But but this is just a glittery package. That's why we're talking about it. I mean, we were kind of disappointed at the amount of character development on this show because they usually do a little bit better as far as Suchin is dying.
Because she's like, what character development?
Exactly. I was like leaning in, like, did I hear that?
She's like, was like Keira Knightley in this, or someone I missed?
Hey,
Yeah.
oh Lord.
Wait, no, finish that thought though. What you're disappointed in the?
I was disappointed in how much we're given tons of character about Kevin and how we're supposed to like him. Almost no one else. Now we get it a little bit more thoroughly because we watch more of the show now that we're talking to you guys. But it's we just don't. And other reality shows try to do more. I think with introducing us to where we will actually like these people that they are basically writing.
Yes.
And the first 2 episodes were given almost nothing. Now we do get more about Kelly, especially Kelly and her literal abuser that she is living with.
That was hard.
It was hard. It was very, very, very.
That was hard.
Filling.
Like Scott was watching it with me, and he was like, "Gee," like when they were in Paris, and
you don't even know.
Yelling.
You don't even know. Oh, you don't even know.
Suchin's looking at you with one eye open, like, I dare you.
That guy, I'm like, you'll never, like, I guess this was his, that guy, the boyfriend, the Power Ranger.
Andrew.
Yes, Andrew, Drew. I was like, okay, you want to be an you're, okay, well, this is the only way for you to get famous. It's like, you will never be hired, bro. But maybe you never were going to be. So I don't know. This is only,
yeah. And to be honest, that's why I kind of fast forward.
It was scary
through the episodes. I wanted to see what happened with that relationship in particular. Like, I was like, how are they actually going to handle this issue that is, I mean, it was really hard to watch, for me. I was like so cringy. I actually had to stop and walk away and kind of like come back to it, but I don't know how it's going to play out in the real world, but it's not playing out in the real world the way it should be. And not being ostracized, and he is not being reprimanded, and he is being rewarded, and he continues. There is no, so I'll be curious to know how much of that was scripted. I think it probably wasn't, or maybe it was.
I
just don't understand how someone can behave like that in the world that we live in today, and there not be
and there are no consequences,
significant backlash.
Yeah.
And that you bring up because Jake and I talked afterwards, because I don't know. My background is I don't do it as much anymore, but my master's in psychology. Jake has done life coaching, so we saw it immediately because we've been trained.
And
to
most
see it.
women did, and most women.
But we wondered if like people that weren't trained in that saw. So it makes me feel validated, but also infuriated that it is so clear that it's an abusive relationship and it's not being dealt with in any way.
And no spoiler alert, because we all know what happens, and I don't want your listeners to do this, but when I say there are
fast
no
forward
consequences,
30 seconds, y'all. Fast forward.
There are no consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that to me is that was the heaviest weight that I have to put this show aside and like let it do its thing and remove it from my cart, cleanse the palate of it. Everything else I can get down with. I could get down with the glitz, the glamour. I mean, even the orphans giving that away. I was like clenching, but I was like, you know what? There's grotesque humor in that, like whatever, you know. But that storyline for me, that I'm off that train.
It was. It's actually been the most controversial thing online.
Really? Okay, great.
And women have most women. You look in. A lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, you like 30% of women. Oh yeah, I've been in an abusive relationship. I can see this." You know, and women saw it a mile away. He also, to me, he looked like he was on something the whole time. That kind of, or maybe it was makeup or something. He was not well.
Wired.
Yeah.
Did you say that you read that apparently he dates like high school girls?
Yeah, or something like that. It was, he's had a lot of bad relationship history, online.
Okay.
And so he is not a person any of us need to know. He's a dangerous person.
Yeah. And as a producer grew up, I feel like, you know, when you vet the cast members, like, is that not, are we at that point where it's like, you know what, a shit show is good for ratings, even if there's a potential that someone is going to borderline criminal activity. You know what I mean? Like
that is good TV.
Yeah. Which is kind of gross.
There's
I feel like
if there was kids involved, different.
Yeah.
If there was a child in that household, different. That people have weird lines. But it's you know, that's very much like, well, let's see where this goes. And like,
I wish it was dealt with though more, because we even try to talk on our podcast. We even joking about 90 Day Fiance. It is about relationships, and even a lot of reality TV is scripted, but we do feel like, we hope there are some instances. I hope that a woman or a man watches that interaction with Andrew and Kelly and they're like, fuck, that is my relationship. That's not healthy. And maybe because we've had people say that they've seen like Darcy on 90 Day Fiance, who is a hot mess, but they're like, oh, I see how codependent she is. And I've worked on changing that in my own life. So but that we haven't finished it yet, but it is kind of unsettling to hear that because there's no consequences to this. I would hate for somebody to watch this and think, well, that's normal.
Well, not only that, it's dangerous because in episode 2, do they go to therapy? Do they show the therapist?
Yeah.
So this is my problem is that they seek professional help, and whether they cut that out of her dialogue, you know, the therapist's dialogue, that to me is dangerous because it signals to me that you are in an abusive relationship. You're going to go to a power of an authoritative figure that is going to sit with both of you and say, listen, you are in an abusive relationship. This is what abuse is. And this is what it looks like.
I think they had to have edited that out. Because Screw Up is a little bit of a spoiler, but there is a second therapy session where she actually sees her separately, you know, and she says, let me just talk to you. And I told Poodle.
This was the best thing it
was chilling. And I told Jake, I said, I know that she probably asked if she had been hurt or beaten, and they probably edited that out.
But they edited out the word abuse.
Yeah,
I think so. They did. I think you're right.
Discussed. And so to me, that is culpability. That is where I draw the line. That is where I remove from cart. You can have that storyline. You can have it be juicy. You can have it be exciting. You can have it be all those things, and you can call it what it is.
Yeah, they didn't take a stand.
They don't call it what it is. And that is the irresponsibility, because there's a young woman or a young man out there watching this and thinking, well, I guess it's None of the friends call it out the way it is. The therapist doesn't call. So whether they didn't call it out or whether they didn't edit it out, it is, to me, just horribly irresponsible to leave that up to someone who is vulnerable to watch and interpret on their own that this kind of behavior is borderline okay. We all know that it's not okay because everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't. But they're like, you shouldn't be with him because you should be with me. No, you shouldn't be with him because he's abusing
Exactly.
you. Kevin, that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know, she shouldn't be with you either. Like, she needs to be, you know, on her own and trying to figure out what this relationship has done to her own self-esteem and her own views about relationships.
She needs to date herself. Yeah, she needs to be on her own. Yeah.
So these storylines, you know, like when reality shows just are silly and fun, I devour. And I'm right there with you. But when they do this, that's when I say I can't get on. I can't get on with.
Wow, that's really interesting because how they set it up there is, to your point, Sujin, of like Kevin's the option, you know, like he's just like bubble gum with no substance, and like that this false choice.
No, it's that's exactly what they're doing,
which makes her look bad. It just makes her look bad when she's the one who's being abused.
You're right, because it makes it look like she's choosing the wrong person. She's not choosing at this point.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's
there's very little choice in this decision for her at this point. She can't even see herself clearly. So she cannot choose you, Kevin, or it's not her choice at this point. You know, so you're absolutely right, Ku. Like, it does make it so that thing, they just really, I hope that they take whatever the conversation around it is and make it better in, you know, season 2 or address it. But so far they haven't.
Let's hope so, because you're exactly right. We just watched episode 5. Nothing has been addressed yet. She's still seeing him. She still saw him and let him be because he wants to be a good dog dad, which is the weirdest thing to say in the world.
Oh no, he says creepy shit in he'll say things like, well, I just have to wait.
Yeah.
For, you know what I mean? If I stick around long enough, you know, she'll see the.
Do you not love me? Do you not love me?
It's like a Forensic Files waiting to happen. Honestly, that's what I kept thinking the entire time. I think this is probably the most substantial conversation that anyone's ever had about this show. I just want to say that.
We can move on to Kane.
I just want to say, I don't know if we can top ourselves. But
you know, Poodle.
You know, if I could top myself, I wouldn't leave the house.
Same.
Drop mic. Drop mic. That's amazing.
So I think let's wrap it up there, you guys, because
y'all want to add? Is there anything y'all want to add?
Anything you guys?
I mean, I think the thing I wanted to add was, listen, you know, I think having a reality show with over the top Asian Americans, I think like being able to show that there are uber wealthy Asian Americans that just own Rodeo Drive, you know, is fun and it's great. I think for me, you know, we see so few Asian American stories and Asian stories in Western media and in American media. There's so few of it available that for me, I don't know if I'm here yet.
Yeah.
If there's enough on the menu for me to celebrate
there's not
this entree.
That is a wonderful way to put it.
So listen, I don't begrudge the cast and I don't begrudge, you know, like I think there should be every flavor, but I hope that if we have Bling Empire, then we can also have, you know, Minari and we can have Paris. You know what I mean? I want there to be a much more full menu. And if this in some way opens up the palette to more Asian American stories, great, fantastic. But I hope this isn't then just more of this, you know,
which was a conversation post Crazy Rich Asians. And this is the straight line from that. And what we were asking for before is what Suchin is saying is like, you know, there's so many Asian American stories, which are just simply American stories.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hoping for just overall representation. But I'm not going to, I don't know. I can't, it's hard for me to even like, you know, hate on anyone's game
No.
You know,
Yeah,
can't.
get yours.
No,
Yeah.
I get it. I remember and let's be honest, hardly any gay romantic comedies are good. They're all horrible, but I'm still
gay
just
movies are so bad.
but at least they made a romantic at least they made fucking Billy's Hollywood Screen Kiss is the only one that's good. You know what I mean? At least they made that. Or at
Good
least
is
they made
relative.
or at least they made breakfast. Not what's it called?
Broken Hearts Club.
Broken Hearts Club.
I promise you, if you see those movies again, and they have not aged well.
They have not aged. So, but I do feel like when you're in that status, you're kind of you take a little bit of the scraps because which is sad.
Unfortunately,
because you're just glad it's happened, and it's and you see in when you see your friends and people that get passed up for stuff and I've seen my friends that are actors that are Asian American. We actually have a mutual friend, Lin Chen is my friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so but you see those hear those stories and you're just so you see this, you're like, okay, maybe, but it does feel like a part of me, I imagine it feels a little bit like we have to make this big grand thing so that white straight men will fucking finally get us. And it's because that's who we have to quote unquote convince to get in the doorway. So there's a little bit of it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I don't know the answer to it, but I definitely sympathize and understand where you're coming from. So I agree. I hope that this leads to other stories.
And who knows? Maybe in season 2.
No, let's not be too hasty.
Who knows, you guys? Asian people are really smart. Okay, we study a lot. We take great feedback. So maybe. I don't know. Maybe I have hope. I have hope in season 2. Listen, Cherie turned it around. She proposed to the man. He accepted. Listen, there are things to celebrate, and maybe they'll build on. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know.
Yeah, Kelly's going to lose her money and start working at Chick-fil-A. Yes, that will happen. Sure.
Nothing was more real than when Baby G's father was talking to Christina, and they were talking about surrogacy. And she's like, I don't know, with a surrogate, you can't tell people what to do. And he's like, with money? Yeah, you always can. And I was like, and he fucking meant it because he should be an emperor.
He should be an emperor.
He's scary to me. Yeah.
When he said that, it's so funny because I was like, what is the attraction? I was like, oh, there it is.
Honey.
It's just someone who's going to be like, here, honey, let me make it all better. I don't know. I don't know. He's
also he does her fillers and bow ties. Yeah. When they had that interaction, it was wild. He was like, I gave you fillers a month ago. You don't need it again. It's like
there's a weird.
I gave you all the fillers.
Yeah, there's a weird coldness to this show. There's always
just straight up Asian. Honey, you're not gonna get any warmer than that. That's hot heat. That's not gonna happen. Oh yeah, that coldness is.
Yeah, that's why Korean spas. There's only one little area where there's cold. Everything is heat because people need to be warmed up. Blood needs to flow.
It's like lizards. They needed sun on a rock.
Yeah, we need wet heat. We need dry heat. We need cameras. We need salt heat.
Charcoal heat, stone heat, jade heat. You need all that heat just to penetrate 2 layers of the epidermis. So good luck trying to get any more warmth out of that. It's not going to happen.
With that, you guys, this has been amazing. Tell us where we can find you. Tell us where you can find your new podcast, and tell us everything about your socials and what you're doing. Tell us everything.
Yeah, what's coming up on Add to Cart?
Add to Cart. Every week, Suchin and I surprise each other with the things that we've add and removed to cart. Our last episode, we talked about what we shared carts with our husbands and what that says about them and our relationships. And so we kind of start with talking about sometimes just items, but it really starts to get very personal and very telling about ourselves.
Well, no, I like that about you. I just want to add that everything in our life is a metaphor for what's going on in the inside. And what we buy and how we buy is a metaphor for how we are feeling in life. And so I love that y'all take these, and even on this show, we could psychoanalyze these people for fucking days. So I love that y'all do that. Anyway, go ahead, keep talking. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, thank you. So definitely check us out on where we get your podcast, but also follow us on Instagram at Add to Cart Pod, and that there we show photos and links to all the things that we talk about, and we do a lot of interaction in those comments. so much interaction. We constantly talk about creams,
lotions, serums, balms.
Right. I didn't realize until I used to work in makeup, and I worked once in the Dillards. I worked across from the Shiseido counter. Yes. Oh my God. And even in Oklahoma, I was like, where are these, just these beautiful Asian women coming in with like beat faces, and like their neck would be tan and their face would just be white because they put so much lightening cream. And I was like, who are these people? It was such a different world.
We're evolved, anyway.
So, Poodle, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to ask Suchin about fucking Kurt Loder. Just do it.
I won't even last. There's not even that much to fill with the 2 minutes. Go on. Go on. Ask me
I want to say, when you're off camera with Kurt Loder, what do you talk about?
Nothing.
Thank you.
Because what do you talk about even when you're on camera? I mean, at that point, listen, Kurt Loder is a legend. By the time I got there, Kurt Loder had left the building. Do you know what I mean? Like, his physical form was there. His cigarette was there. That's about as much of it that was there. Like, he was done with it. He had moved. So by the time I got there, off camera, on camera, it was Kurt. We're the VMAs, we're going live in 5 minutes. Do you want to get your left shoe on? No, that's fine. Let's keep the camera, you know what I mean, from the neck up. Like, there's no pre-chat. He didn't show up for a rehearsal. Like, he's not interviewing, Fallout Boy. You know what I mean? Like, he's not interviewing those persons. He doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? He's interviewing if Madonna shows up, or they'll talk to Kurt. But so yeah, he was a statue of a legend that I sat next to for a few years.
Kulap and Suchin, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation of this.
So sorry, you guys.
Which I'm sure will be a Peabody Award-winning show.
We're gonna keep it. This is
we're keeping it. We're keeping the dog.
Okay.
We're keeping the dog.
We already have a dog that barks under Jake's apartment, and now our listeners even comment about what the dog is going through. And now the dog has become a character in our podcast.
Oh yeah, Kulap.
I mean, the reason why the dogs are barking is because my husband's doing another podcast in the backyard, and Lauren Lapkus and Paul F. Tompkins are walking into the backyard so they can do Freedom. So we are just
name dropper
podcasting.
We're podcasting everywhere.
The streams are crossing, you guys.
Yes, I love it. Well, so you guys, thank you again.
Thank
Y'all subscribe to Add to Cart.
I have subscribed. It's a great show. It's I enjoy it so much.
Lotions,
it's like
creams.
It's like
balms.
It's like good bubble gum with that hits you with some deep thoughts. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
Log line.
That's your new log line. So thank you all guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yo, how can I get Kevin to fuck me anytime I want to move? I want to beg for it day and night. Kevin. Oh, wow, 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 wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Yeah. Gonna get it done, Kevin. Get in here. That's what Daddy wants.